Welcome to the post-match show. This is Time Out with Sports Adda. Salil, Bhavik, this match should have gotten over in the 16th, 17th over already. What happened there? You saw Krunal Pandya trying to make the match interesting for all of us, and I got those goosebumps thinking that is it going to be a Delhi win here?
यार वो पकड़ो केएल राहुल को यार सच में पकड़ो जाके यार यार you have an informed Ayush Badoni there who's finishing the matches for you, scoring the runs at the important times for you. I have no answers to why Ayush Badoni was not preferred over Krunal Pandya. Just that Krunal Pandya got lucky with that slower one in the slot, and that one was, the time when he deposited that into and converted into a six. But I really feel, this is not 100 out of 100, a performance by Lucknow Super Giants here.
Yeah.
You're trying to say it's not a convincing victory, but Salil, on the other hand, how good was Quinton de Kock? I think he was playing a game of his own. He was in Zen mode today. The way he hit Kuldeep Yadav for those runs. Very unfortunately, Kuldeep Yadav taking all the battering for the wrongdoings of Andrik Nokia. So, how do you make of that innings?
Well, I think there was at least a few batsmen need to set their eye in, and they really had wanted someone to dig in. And Quinton de Kock there showing all his experience. Just as you saw in the Delhi innings, not every batsman was able to get through, with the bowling that quickly. But it was a few people who did it. I mean, there was Prithvi Shaw who did it, and Quinton de Kock here really set it up by scoring a chunk of the runs along with KL Rahul. So
Right,
the
right.
experience of Quinton de Kock coming to the fore here, and he showed his calm in this kind of situation to ensure that the matches won in the first innings are kept as one and not lost out of hand by being complacent. So he didn't expose the rest of the batting lineup also, which has been playing pretty well. Huda and Krunal Pandya and Ayush Badoni is continuing with his great form, but that innings was very important. It would have been slightly different if he and Rahul would have got out cheaply. But good job there,
Yeah.
showing his experience.
If you can have a look at the scorecard here, nothing much to say to be honest. Some brilliant batting by Quinton de Kock, 80 of 52. He could have got on to 100 as well because the way he was hitting the ball, I didn't see him not scoring 100. Lalit Yadav, Kuldeep Yadav, both the Yadavs have had a good IPL so far with the bat and with the
It's
ball
the
for Lalit.
tournament of
He's
Yadavs.
yes. And playing for Lucknow, it's personal for them. It's their native town. All the Yadavs performing really well. But speaking of the game a little bit more, I think Salil, do you think that Ravi Bishnoi's spell, he's been very underrated so far, all these years he's played a couple of seasons now, and he's been very underrated as a leg spinner. He's been bowling really well. He's got an India call as well. He's played for India. He's got the national cap. But you think that he should get a bit more credit than he usually does because of the performances that he puts in?
Well, I think that is something that they appreciated soon after the match because they called him for an interview. So that's not going unnoticed purely because his figures of 2 for 22, those are the ones that actually restricted Delhi from getting to a big score. So that is something that
Right.
set it up for the batsman. That's why I said when you won it in the first innings, and obviously you can't win it. You have won it because of your bowlers and your bowling. Maybe that last gamble of KL Rahul of not bowling his full quota for Avish Khan might have proven costly, but luckily they managed somehow. But that
Yeah,
ended up with a
really.
good score there for them to chase. Pretty confident with that, and the batsmen did their job.
Right. And the two wickets that he took, Ravi Bishnoi, were the big fishes. The one being David Warner and the other one being Romario Shepherd. We know how good and lethal these two are if they get going. So everything said and done, a great spell by Ravi Bishnoi, and he deserves all the credit that he's being given right now. Now, speaking of the scorecard
True.
and just the predictions we made, actually, we made some predictions before the second innings. If you can have a look at those predictions, oh my God, it's a full house for Salil here, getting all the three right. Thank you,
Ooh.
Evan Lewis. Thank you, Kuldeep Yadav. And he's the winner for today.
Yeah.
So, being a joint winner with Bhavik for so long, how does it feel to stand on the podium alone for once?
Well, I really think I had the pulse of how Lucknow was playing. I think they're going with a momentum. And like I said, Delhi had three new players today. And if you see both the overseas player didn't really perform. Andrik Nokia having a terrible day at office. So I think that was the understanding that I had from the pulse of the game, and there we are.
Absolutely, there we are. Now, Bhavik, how does a team like Delhi come back from this? Because they've got Shane Watson, Ricky Ponting, Praveen Ambre, they've got Ajit Agarkar in the bowling coach as well. So, how do they come back now from this defeat? Because it's a big loss, and now everyone has realized that their lower middle order is the point of concern. Because if Rishabh Pant doesn't fire, who will? You've got a Sarfaraz, like you said, he's very
Yeah.
inexperienced. Lalit Yadav just one-off games. So, what do they do now? Who else do they make play in the playing 11 now?
See, just as we mentioned during the pre-match show, how David Warner and Andrik Nokia would be tested today because they were coming in this settled Delhi Capitals team. Tim Seifert was looking good while David Warner, straight away replaced him. While Andrik Nokia was a no-brainer for them coming out from an injury, and it was the first time that he's playing in India. So the conditions
Right.
also might not
Yeah.
exactly suit his bowling style. But then again, I'm sure the Delhi think tank would take some time to settle in, take this 11 to gel well, to just gather around some experienced campaigners along with them, and just go with the flow at the moment, because I'm sure this was the first game with this probable 11, and definitely we would see positive result from the Delhi Capitals side.
Absolutely. Now, Salil, do you think the same mistake would be repeated? We all have been scrutinizing KL Rahul's captaincy and the bowling changes he made. Bhavik pointed out good points that Avesh Khan was not given his quota. You two agreed on it. Do you think that it's actually high time now? They've won 3 games. Okay, they're doing very well for them in this season. But moving ahead, this is not how you want to go ahead in IPL. It can just change with a snap of a
Yeah.
finger. So you think that it's time that KL Rahul pulls his socks up, and also the coaching staff, including Andy Bickle and Gautam Gambhir?
Well, I think what Gautam Gambhir has to really think along with KL Rahul is now you need to think about situations. So if Delhi would have scored
Right.
170 runs, in what position would Lucknow be to chase this? Would they take it to the last over? No. So how should be their approach? How aggressive they should be? So they need to look at a level two of the kind of situations that can arise because your team is in form. They're getting you into a winning position, either batting first or bowling first. And how do you need to finish the
Yeah.
game? So those are the situations that they need to think about. So let's hope KL Rahul is not the fielding captain in the second innings because that's where we've seen him do most of the blunders. I think in this
Yep.
tournament also the first game was like that, and as in his previous stint as the captain for the Punjab Kings. So I think that for me honestly is a concern area because we don't see that kind of a shuffling of the bowlers that you need to do as a captain. It seems like you've always banked on two bowlers and not the real situation, and you'll try to get them the last over and you lose your matches between the 10th and 15th over. So I think that's been the problem. But apart from that, now if they correct that, they become a very strong unit. They've got brilliant overseas players. They're batting well. Their youngsters are playing well. Their middle order is fantastic. Huda Krunal, and you already saw what Badoni can do. That guy can really bat. I
Yeah.
don't know why he's not batting up the order at number three. If required, if he could have saved Evan Lewis and
He could.
maybe try that in the next match as an experiment. So lots to try. It's very positive. They've come out with 3 wins. I think they go top of the table with the number of points. We'll have to check the net run rate, but yeah, definitely they're in the top three.
Yeah. And Bhavik, the net run rate right now doesn't matter. No one really cares about it at this very moment. But when the IPL goes down to the wire and when the matches are just neck and neck, these wins that you just won by a margin, and if you could have won it well beforehand, they will actually haunt them if they fail to qualify, isn't it?
Definitely, yes. Net run rates are always, important for any side who are in the participation of, or in fact qualification process. But at the same time, in the early days, any team would just back a win. They won't just go for a swashbuckling net run rate. Of course, if the situation demands, if the conditions are up for it, they will definitely go and correct a few decisions where they can possibly up the ante and have that net run rate in their favor. But at the same time, I really suppose it's early days, and I think a W is something what the teams would prefer for the time being.
Well said, Bhavik. Right now it doesn't matter, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, a Rajasthan versus Mumbai match, the way it happened, that six from Tare, something like that, if it happens this year as well, it's going to be fantastic. So thank you, Salil and Bhavik, for joining with me. We had a great game today, and we have some few brilliant games lined up ahead this week. So we'll catch up then. This was Time Out with Sports Adda. Good night.
Thank you.